Okay, so we're printing out the elements of each of the three lists. We're printing out the values of the elements of each of the three elements in each of the three lists. And we're fooling around with the end argument to put these little pipes in between them. Let's go back and look at the code there. You could use other types of lists, other types of loops to do this, of course. But we are processing items within each list, as well as we are processing the lists themselves with these two loops. Okay. Okay, so that brings us up to the 2D movie list, which looks like this. And let's call it up and run it, and we'll. So let's open it. Movie list 2D. And let's give it a whirl. Right, so this looks like the other one, and it is similar, but we are processing lists of lists here. So what am I talking about? Let's give it the list command, and looks just like the other one, except we have now the name of the movie as well as the release date. Okay, so Monty Python and the Holy Grail was released in 1975, On the Waterfront released in 1954, and so forth. So the program is modified, of course, such that if we want to add something, we want to add a new movie, it will prompt us first for the name. And let's stick with the script and say Gone with the Wind. Note that with is a reserved word, but we can still put it in the string without incurring an error. But it will also ask us for the year, which I believe is 39. Same year as The Wizard of Oz came out, I believe. Okay, so now we say, well, show me the list again. And we can see that it's been added. Or similarly, we could delete something. So we say del, which is the delete command, and it's asking for the number, which is the index +1. No, which is the index -1. And so we say we want to delete that one. Gone with the On the Waterfront, and we say, what does it look like? And we can see that On the Waterfront is gone. Okay, so then we exit. And let's take a look at the code itself. In fact, let's get both of these programs up here. Okay. Here's the new one, and let's see if I can get this intruding panel out of the way. Here's a new one, and this is movie list 2D, and this is movie list no D. Okay, let's put them right next to each other and look for the differences. Okay, well, let's start with main. So we come down here to main. Main, I believe, is identical. Right, this is the old one. This is a new one. They are identical. It just establishes the list of lists, and, except for we have dates now, right? In the old one, we just had the names. We had a single list in the movie list. Here we have a 2D list, where each movie is its own list, right? So we have 3 lists inside of movie list. And again, this emulates rows and columns, if you want to think of it that way. However, they don't have to be of the same size. So the spreadsheet analogy probably wouldn't work there. But for this class, we're going to keep them the same size. Okay, so that's exactly the same. Display, it evokes the display menu. That line is the same in both. The while true, I believe, yes, all the same. So there are the commands. And that is. So this one is similar in that it lets the user list, add, or delete movies. And so therefore the program would have the same hierarchy chart and some of the same functions, but not all of them. Okay, so let's go up and look at the other functions. Now here's a difference where the order of the functions is a little different, but here, okay, let's knock off the easy ones first. Display menu, it's a little different. Okay, so it doesn't say the movie list program, it just says command menu. Other than that, though, it's the same. Let's look at the list function, however. Here's the list function in the original 1D program. It just simply had this one for statement where it loops through it loops through the movie list, pulling out each name and numbers them starting at 1. Okay, but you'll notice over here in list, there's and there's a check to see if the movie list is empty. Okay, so we have this first print if statement that says if the length of the movie list is 0, don't do anything. Print there are no movies in the list. Okay, so that's an enhancement over the first movie list program. However, if there are movies in the list, it simply uses enumerate, just like the original program does. But with this slight change, it is now printing out both, it's looping through each of the singular movie, and it's pulling out the first item, which is the name of it, and it's pulling out the second item, which is the date. Okay, back here, it didn't do any of that, just pulled out the name. Okay, so we're using, the point is, now that we have a two-dimensional list, you have to subscript both of those dimensions. Okay, so we use the indexes 0 and 1 to get the movie name and the year from each column in each row. Now, the exercise that I've set up between now and next week, you might not be surprised, expands this. Okay, so we're going to have, it's a movie list program, but one of the prominent things that is different is that each list has 3 items, has the name, the date, and the cost. Okay. So let's go back here and let's look at add. Add is different in these two. In the original one, the only input statement was for the name of the movie. And we used the append command to just simply add that movie name to the existing one-dimensional list of movie names. Right. So, and then we print it out. However, now we have to capture both the name and the year. And to do that, we create a little list inside the add function with what the person entered for the name and what the person entered for the year. And we put that in movie, and then we append that little list, 2-item list, to the larger movie list. Okay, and again, when we're telling the user what movie was added, we're not telling them the year, which I believe I asked you to do in the exercise, and the cost. To get the name, you have to index that item in each list, which is an index of 0. Okay. So that's that. Delete. if we look at delete, delete works the exact same way. I believe, yeah, delete is identical, except when you're printing out the name of the movie that's deleted, again, you have to use the index of name, which is 0. Okay. And did we leave anything out? I don't think so. So those are the only real differences. That I can see. And again, when you're deleting over here, with the delete, just like we did in the original one, we're popping the item based on its index number. Remember, this is an optional argument. You can use pop without an argument, in which case it'll remove the last item. But we don't want to do that. We want to pop the number -1 to get, just like we did before, because the index will always be one less than the number of the movie, which is 1, 2, and 3, and so forth. Okay, so that's all the same. Okay, display menu is the same. Just like the original one, you don't have to return the entire movie list in either add or delete. It gets modified on the fly, and this movie list variable always knows the current state of the movie list. Okay. So here's some other useful methods, list methods. And some of these are actually a little counterintuitive. Count items of value. Okay. So you're trying to, for example, look for duplicate values. A list, you can have duplicate values in a list. They don't have to be unique. And so if you had the number 14, for example, in three different items in a list, if you say count 14, it will return 3. It counts how many occurrences there are of that value for an item. Reverses the order of the items in a list. Now, some of these functions permanently change the list and some don't, as we'll see. Sorts the list items in place, where you can use a key argument to specify a function to be called on each item before sorting. And I think we'll take a look at that. A built-in function for sorting the items in a list. This returns a new list consisting of the sorted items of the original list. The optional key argument specifies a function to be called on each item before sorting. Well, that's a mouthful, and maybe not quite sure what it means initially, but I'm sure we'll get an example. So so here's our next slide. It shows us count, reverse, and sort, and this will answer some of the questions we just had. This is slide 33.